One example of this is links within a web page. They're almost always the same color, blue. This leads us to think that their function is similar too. Let's look at an example of how similarity comes into play in wireframes. Earlier, we worked on a wireframe of Google Photos. If you look closely, you'll notice that the bottom half of the app contains 6 squares that are the same size. Because they all have the same shape and size, you perceive these elements as being similar, or peers in a group. In this case, each square represents a photo, and the function of each square is the same. If you tap on the square, it will enlarge to fill the full screen. Here's the takeaway. When designing a wireframe, consider making elements that have a similar function look similar to give your app a more intuitive user experience. Now let's examine another Gestalt principle, proximity. This principle states that elements that are close together appear to be more related than things that are spaced farther apart. How does this play out in our Google Photos wireframe? At the top of the wireframe, there are 3 large rectangles placed close together in a row. Because the rectangles are close together, our brains think they're related. It turns out our brain is correct. These 3 rectangles are photo albums, while the 6 squares below, which are placed more distantly from those rectangles, are just individual photos. Here's the takeaway. When designing your wireframe, put elements that are related close together instead of far apart. Great. Now you're getting the hang of this. Let's examine one more principle, common region. This principle states that elements located within the same area are perceived to be grouped together. Let's think about this principle in our Gmail wireframe. The divider line creates a border around each email, so the subject line, email recipients, and email content appear to be grouped together. Here's the takeaway. You can use borders in your wireframes to group elements together. Great. Now you know some of the most commonly used Gestalt principles: similarity, proximity, and common region. Keep these principles in mind as you create your wireframes, and your products will be easier to use.